from Police Academy. What's your name? Hooks? He speaks very low. So I suppose tonight I'm taking the place of Diane, and I'll have to make announcements.
Yep. You want me to get the gavel for you?
Class. I already taught class today. I don't want to teach anymore. And I don't know why I'm on the other side of this table. Oh, I'm too lax. I'm way too lax with them. Thank you for being here for our first program of the new season, officially. Tonight we have Russell Carrens, who's going to give us a demonstration of the affinities between the moving image, or cinema, and the still image, photography. He did not give me a bio because he decided to go out with his friend and be bad. So, but you all know him, and it's really, if you get to know him and you talk to him, he's got stories galore. He's really terrific to get to know, sit down with. He and I sat down for 90 minutes, and my God, the stories. That's really the bio right there. I couldn't even start to say who he is. But he's worked in the industry, in television, in film, in broadcasting, for many, many, many years. And he knows the ins and outs, and he knows all of the people. And tonight, I took a little chance tonight. I thought this was kind of brave, maybe a little stupid, but actually bringing in this idea of cinema into a camera club for the first program. We don't really talk about cinema as a sister to photography, as a sister art. But I think every once in a while we need to think cinematically about our images, especially when we're putting them together for a series or for a portfolio, and thinking of them as a story, as a narrative, as images that work together to tell a full story, not just one particular scene, right? And I think Russell will do a great job of doing that because he's done this before, this particular program, and he's been doing this forever. So before we give it to Russell, though, do we have any announcements?
Yes. I want to tout the fall trip. Mm-hmm. I don't know if everybody knows that Lewis Katz is currently in the hospital. He's got complications due to his chemotherapy, so he's having secondary issues. So he has asked me to step up, and I sent out an email the other day regarding the trip. There are 6 people signed up, but tomorrow is the deadline. So if you're thinking of going, tomorrow is it. So all the information's on the website. You have to call down. You can't do it online.
How many people are going, Jim?
Right now there are 6 reservations. There are 3 left. 3 reservations left.
One of the reservations has 2 people.
Yeah, but there are 6 reservations. Yes, there are more than 6 people going. Because I've got someone coming with me, you have your wife. I don't know if others.
What was that again?
Oh, you 2 are going together? Oh, okay, great. So, that's 6 plus.
1090
I know Walter Levy, he's coming for the first time.
I can send you a picture.
So we're going to have to make it a good time. Not that it hasn't ever been before. Also, we're within 2 weeks of the deadline on the MPA photo contest. So if you're interested in joining that, there's $2,100 worth of prizes being given away. So
I've entered, I'm going to win all the prizes.
Huh?
I've entered, I'm going to win all the prizes.
No, you're not going to win all the prizes. Well, but you could. It's possible.
Theoretically possible.
It's right. Theoretically, you could. But all the information's on the MPA website. I'm sending out emails, and Steve Sattler's sending out Facebook posts, and I'm sharing those. So keep your eyes open and give it a go. That's all I have.
Thank you. Tom, you want to tell us about competition?
we have a competition next week. It's our first print competition of the season. And since I'm drawing a blank, our judge will be, not in my phone right now.
Jennifer T. I think it's
I've got it on my phone.
No, it was on the, not this time.
Oh, I know he's in queue.
He's in the queue.
Edwin Renz.
I'm thinking it might be
Edwin Renz. Oh, Edwin.
Yeah.
Edwin Remsburg, right?
Edwin Remsburg.
Right, so that's cool. Edwin Remsburg, he's judged for us before. He's one of the judges in the MPA.
He's also the judge, one of the judges for the MPA.
Right, so-
Contest stuff.
We call him Judge
So this is a
Remsburg.
primer.
2 weeks after that, we have our first themed competition, digital competition. The theme is, I call it, People on Task.
Okay.
Musicians, artists,
Craftsmen, musicians, artists, athletes, workmen,
Butchers.
butchers.
engaged in their work.
So someone doing something. And so that, I like to make the themes broad but interesting.
So think August Sander.
Pardon?
August Sander.
Okay. That's what he says.
We should all know August.
So I'm not gonna go down all of them, but that's where we are. So I was just going over the prints that are here to be collected. And, tell your friends, come get them. It's Tom Anderson, Kim Bassar, Paul Biederman has 5, Eve Bond, Richard Kaplan, Keith Harrison, Peter Hauser, Louis Katz has 11.
Richard Kaplan is no more. So,
Laura Callahan, Kaplan's not on here. Oh, Kaplan, Steve, right. So what should I do with his 5 prints?
I don't know, I mean, we can offer him to his family, I guess.
Walter Levy has 14. Deb Payne, Arthur Ransom has 6. Tricia Simmons and Ron Zemer has 2. So, tell me what I should.
Is Ron out of the country?
No, he's in Maine. I don't think we're gonna see Ron. And Tom Anderson, we won't see. What?
Did you want to email him?
Where's that?
I will, if I can find their email address, that's why I was
Yeah.
sitting there making the list. So I can email them and let them know that they're here.
Are they available in where our software is?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, but if I didn't have the name for them, I wouldn't be able to.
Well, the old ones may not be.
So
If they're not current,
we'll see if
but I would
I'll,
have them if you don't.
okay, I'll send them out, the people who have prints here, and this person to come pick them up, or to deputize someone who will be here, picking them up when they're, yeah.
I can take all the Walter stuff.
Pardon?
I'll take all the Walter stuff.
Okay, well, I'll give that to
I did the
you.
same thing with the MPA. I had to put all stored in my basement. I got something like
Oh,
How you guys
You got a gallery in your basement?
I've got Roger Miller
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my God.
framed print
Jeez,
back there.
send an email, we wanna see Roger Miller, it's been so long.
So anyway,
He's
so
threatening.
that's where they are. I sent out, an email to everybody on the, exhibits that are up in the area. I plan to do that occasionally, just,
That's nice.
and, I may even get to some, you know?
One that's coming, I think, on October 1st is, Les Becker. He has one of Harvard Grace gallery. That'll be something cool, yeah.
Well, what's the name of the gallery?
He sent me.
Do me a favor, send me the information, and I'll include that in future renditions of the thing. The one at the BMA about the uprising from Freddie Gray.
Devin
It's
Allen.
only up for another 3 days.
Oh, okay.
So, so I put it into my, when the exhibit's going to expire, stop exhibiting, so whatever. So that's where we are. I don't know if there's anything else I need to say. If I have any questions, remember on the print competition, you can submit 6 prints, 3 color, 3 black and white.
I don't know, those 6 working people.
Print competition. Like the working, the thing,
Oh,
that's
right.
digital. I only do things on digital, because we have trouble getting enough entrants on the print competition. And we always have fewer entries on themed competitions than on general competitions. So that's why none of the print competitions are themed. So there's a method to that. But yes, any questions? I'm done.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah.
The poe images are trickling in, so I hope to be done end of the month, so if you have,
Oh, for the calendar?
for the calendar, yeah. So if you're thinking about it,
Get to it, get moving.
I'll send something out.
Okay. Also, in 2 weeks, I'm going to do another battle royale, and we'll do this at this point. Walter was giving me a lot of slack the last time, so I think I'll just one of his and destroy him. So it's my pleasure now to turn it over to Russell. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Russell. Just, we'll see. I've been around here about a year with the club. My career was, I was an editor, worked in television 50 years. And I burned out. I'm a over. 16 nowadays, so but, so I grew up in Southeast Texas, small city, went to a small university there, state school. Didn't have much, they didn't have many hands-on resources for us, so they taught us theory. Filled this thing up, overflowing. Thought I understood it. I started to do it. I didn't. I didn't understand it. And so, somewhere along the line, I had an epiphany, we'll get to that, and I finally understood it. I worked in television while I was still in college. I ran all night movies, and then I would go to class. Let's just say there were.
So say what kind of movies?
Bad B movies, bad all-night movies in Beaumont, Texas. So I moved around a lot my first 7 years in my career, and I ended up in Baltimore actually, and that's where I met my wife. She's from Louisville, and that's why I'm back here. Love them all, 96, blah, 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 everyone has that story. But I worked my way all around the country and just trying to learn the physical hands-on of what I wanted to do. And I kind of decided on editing after 5 years, 6 years. And I got to learn how to edit with computers, which was brand new then. That was all new. And let's see, where did I work? Beaumont, Port Arthur, Topeka, Kansas, Charleston, South Carolina, Asheville, North Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina. Spent 9 months doing live sports. My liver told me not to do that for another contract. And I ended up here in Baltimore. And that's really kind of breaking into the editing thing. Worked at a place on TV Hill, that's Woodbury, right? And on Malden Avenue, still there, a place called Producers Video. From Baltimore, I went to Dallas, then I went to LA. Went to LA because 2 companies merged together. And there was 8 editors, and they needed 6. And they said, here's a severance, see you later. So I went to LA. Got a job there. This is about late 1988, 89. It was a really crazy time. The computer editing thing, the transfer from film to video was just, all this stuff was really new at that point. And it was the halcyon days of music videos. And I probably worked on, touched somehow, 2,000 videos. Everything from Eazy-E to Reba McEntire to Lyle Lovett to Toad the Wet Sprocket, whatever you want. I did a lot of it. And I worked around LA. I learned some equipment that was very sparse, not very many in the world. It's a piece of equipment you would never have heard of. It was called a Henry. And it was a British company, Quantel. And there was like 300 of these in the world. There were 600 people, 700 people called them Henry artists, called themselves Henry. There was about 30 of us who actually knew how to work it. I was very fortunate because I figured it out. Stayed up all night long for months learning that thing. I got to work in New York, Boston, Dallas, Chicago, Atlanta, London, Frankfurt, Rome, Paris, Tokyo. Really cool job. So, like I said, I learned a ton of theory in college. It didn't really make much sense to me until I had hands-on and I was able to do different things. So I've given this presentation to a group of Morgan State interns. They seem to have liked it. And what this is, I call it the moving image. I don't care if it's film, if it's video, if it's digital, frames are frames are frames. I don't care what they are. And so here we go. So,
Should we cover lights or?
no, I think, this all works. The moving image works on a very simple principle. It's called persistence of vision. Very poetic term. But what it means is your eye sees every single frame. And a film is just like what you used to get when you use a 35 millimeter camera. But your eye sees every single frame. Your brain, though, is playing a trick on your eyes. Your brain retains an image for 1/10 to 1/16 of a second, while bringing in the next thing. So what this creates is this jumble of stuff in your head, in your brain. Your eyes still see every single frame. What your brain turns it into is motion. That's just, I don't care. If it's, remember when you were in high school or grade school and you made a little clip animations? Yeah, everyone did that. And still the same principle.
Would it be easier for you to get up on the other side of the table facing
Yeah,
us?
Yeah.
Turn your laptop around.
But, so persistence of vision is the editor's friend and it's the editor's enemy.
Can you put that a little,
Huh?
can you lower
Oh, that's a show and tell later. So persistence of vision means your brain is processing the way your brain processes this. And well, let's just move on. This is called a phonetoscope. This is a very early, can you all see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a very early idea, and persistence of vision came about. They were some of the very first experiments in psychology and neurology, and and this was in like the 1820s, 1830s. They turned these into parlor tricks. And this was one of those. It was a wheel, This is laid out for you. And you would peer through this thing, and you would see just one slice of this wheel. And it looked like the guy was running around the wheel. Okay? There's evidence of persistence of vision, examples from Mesopotamia. They're not sure, but they think they found clay jars where you would spin them. And same thing. This was the very first type of kind of little parlor trick. A zoetrope. Okay, you still can find these in antique shops, in, garage sales. These were kind of popular. And these were lamps. They made all sorts of things, but they're called a zoetrope, which Francis Ford Coppola later named his studio Zoetrope Studios. Okay? Okay. At the same time, photography is coming along. I'm always mispronounce this, the daguerreotype, it is all the wet plate stuff. At the same time, and photography was a tinkerer's world. People tinkered with it. It was kind of experimental. Everything was experimental. This is the first film you could call a film. Okay? And what it is, it's showing the passage of Venus through the sky. Okay? This is 1846, 1847. That's it. It's only like 6 seconds long.
How was it made?
Huh?
How was it made?
It was made with plates. And what they did was, it was cameras stacked together, and then they adjusted them, the image, to come up with this. Okay? They really had to try. This one, everyone's seen. These are the daguerreotypes. And what this is, this guy tried to figure out, I forget what his name was, but he tried, huh? Yeah, okay, there. He tried half a dozen or a dozen different ways to do this. He tried to expose single daguerreotypes. What he ended up doing was, it's a long wall, and as the horse ran, he would trip wires. And so each camera would expose a thing. And what this was originally set up as, it was kind of like a zoetrope or something. You would play it by spinning the wheel, and it would animate.
Wasn't the purpose to solve a better thing, whether the horses are 4 feet left field?
Yeah.
It was very expensive then, too.
Yeah. And he tried for a long time to figure out how to do this.
Can you
But-
imagine the excitement?
But if you notice the numbers in the bottom left corner,
Yeah, you can actually see it.
yeah, so patience is a virtue, as my mother always said. This is from England. This is, I believe, 1861 or so. And this is, or it might be a little bit later than that, late 60s. This is when nitrate film first came onto the scene, where they would put the silver emulsion onto a nitrate backing. And this guy came up with the idea of putting perforations in the film. And he would play it back. Okay? That's it. Exciting so far, isn't it?
It's a wild ride.
Wow.
Where's the first step?
So now we come to 1890. We're all taught in school and everything that Edison invented the movie camera. No, he didn't. He wanted to commercialize the movie camera. He had entered into an agreement with George Eastman, Kodak, to sell film and cameras. He wasn't really interested in making movies. He wanted to sell stuff, not ideas. And so here's one of the very first of what were called actuality films. Actuality means it was a real event, but there's no edits, nothing. Oh. Yeah. So here it is. I messed up. This is called the Sioux Ghost Dance. If anyone read the book, Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. Okay, towards the end of the book, the Ghost Dance, which was kind of the resurrection myth, and the Indians took it as we would dance until the grasses would grow so high the white man would disappear. Okay?
They didn't dance long.
Huh?
They didn't dance long.
I guess not. Here I am. They made hundreds of these things. The train. These things were so new to people. When they would see these things, they would be screened in a vaudeville theater and stuff. People would run out of the theater thinking the train was going to hit them. They had never, there was nothing culturally for them to accept that this is a two-dimensional flat image wherever.
This was all before the Lumiere?
Oh, yeah. This is kind of the same area. And they started to make more complicated things. They started to stage things. And this is from the Spanish-American War. And it was, they just were, they were trying to come up with anything to film. And there's the Americans. Yay, colonialism. Yay, imperialism. Yay. So these were all screened for free because he's trying to sell cameras and film. He's trying to get people interested in buying something. Along comes some gentleman in France, developed a camera, same time Edison had developed his. They're called the Lumiere brothers. That was their real name. It's very poetic that their name was Lumiere, but they came up with an idea. They weren't selling cameras. They weren't selling film. And in, I believe, 1895, one of them had an idea. When we're screening this, let's charge a penny, or the French equivalent. And this turned into the movie business. And it was very profitable.
All those pennies.
Yeah. And what this is their workers leaving their factory in France. That's all it is. But they made a lot of money. This is 1895 France, I believe it's Nice. And this is their workers. And people came in droves to see this and plop down their money. Okay, we're making money now. This very, I know you're saying, why? So, next comes editing, because now we're trying to make money. So now we have to come up with different ideas to make money, to keep people interested, keep people coming back. So, George Méliès was a French photographer, and he was kind of sponsored by the Lumiere brothers. And actually, for this particular film people wanted to put him on trial for witchcraft.
Witchcraft.
Yes.
Oh.
The four heads, the four troublesome heads. That's him.
Oh.
The Lumiere brothers had come up with a technique where they could reverse the film.
Oh.
And this is all double exposure stuff. It's very...
And this is telling a story.
Yes, we're starting to tell stories.
Yeah.
Yes. But people actually wanted to put him on trial for witchcraft. And it has a humorous end
Yes,
too.
how did he do it?
Yeah.
I can't pay for that.
Well, they were off key.
Oh, so that was clever.
Very clever.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was there were other people who had made edits. One was the story of Anne Boleyn, and her head gets chopped off, and so they made what calls a match cut, and so her head falls into the basket. Okay. He also, I forget what his name was, but they wanted to put him on trial for killing a woman. Yeah, it's not film. A lot of these films are lost because of the nitrate backing. If you don't know what happens to nitrate when it's not stored at the right temperature and in the right darkness, all that stuff, it turns to jelly. The jelly is actually nitroglycerin.
Oh.
So if you read history and there's these huge fires in film storage places, that's why, because it was full of nitroglycerin.
Original blockbuster.
Yeah. So this guy, George Albert Smith, he had done a previous film that had an edit in it, but the second edit is lost because of the nitrate thing. But this one survives. It's called Grandma's Reading Glass. And this is what's called continuity edits, meaning that this action and this action matches his action. He's putting his watch back in his pocket. Now he picks up the glass. Now we look at the canary. Those are what's called continuity edits. You're telling a story. And this shot was done totally different than this shot at a different time, different camera setup, everything. Okay, now we get to see Grandma's eye close up. But this is really, for editing, this is really important. You're starting to put images together to make a story. There's no sound to any of this stuff, or is what some people would call pure cinema.
How did you join? How did they join the different
It's just cutting film, and you glue it back together.
Oh.
That's
So the animal film, the guillotine.
okay. Enough of Grandma. 10 years later, this is where we're at. Okay, from Grandma's Glasses, that's 1901. We come to this guy named Max Sennett. He was a failed actor, failed cameraman in New York. He goes to Los Angeles, he builds the very first studio in Los Angeles. Why? In New York, there was 120 days they could shoot because they needed sun. Los Angeles, there was 330 days a year. And he, oh.
For the madcap antics of Bennett's masterful comics set the standards for future generations of funny men to follow.
That's in Echo Park, if you know Los Angeles. Building is still there. There is no OSHA, there is no Cal OSHA. Okay. At this point, there's no union rules, nothing. It's the way they.
Yeah, they're all Jackie Chan, doing their own stunts.
So Max Sennett is also important because he discovers two people that you're going to see in just a second. When Charlie Chaplin, well, let's just move to the next slide. Charlie Chaplin came out of the music halls in England. Vaudeville in England. He was child actor. His parents were. He was actually pretty successful. He was doing a tour in the United States. Max Sennett calls him up, says, "Would you like to come make a movie?" And so Max Sennett discovers Charlie Chaplin. Max Sennett also discovers Fatty Arbuckle. Mabel Todd, I think this was her name. It was always Fatty Arbuckle's female side. He also discovered Buster Keaton. Harold Lloyd, slightly different story. So, the reason why Chaplin is important in the telling a story, he taught every actor from that point forward how to emote correctly in front of a camera. How to look into that lens and make it a person you're looking at. That's my take of Charlie Chaplin. And here, this is from a film called The Gold Rush. Any Charlie Chaplin film is worth watching. The shoe is actually licorice. That's how he did this. But his expressions, his emotion, amazing. And this was from his stage experience. But he was able to take that broad stage appearance and focus it into the lens of the camera. And the Little Tramp only spoke once. The Little Tramp was silent until the film Modern Times. At the end of Modern Times, he tells the girl he loves her.
Oh, and that is the only?
That one.
Oh my God. Oh, that's tragic.
Buster Keaton. If you're going to make a TikTok video, a YouTube video, whatever, and you want to make a gag, you want to make a comic gag, watch Buster Keaton. Any Buster Keaton. This is like a.
That was a magic.
Yes, he came out of vaudeville. And his parents, he went on stage when he was 4 or 5 years old. His bit in the family thing was his father threw him around on the stage. That was his bit. It was all physical. And he learned how to take a fall, which you'll see why. But notice the editing is starting to really become very concrete. Passage of time, space, everything else. We'll get to that in a second.
He was the greatest of all the clowns in the history of the cinema. Buster Keaton.
Never broke a smile. Great edit, great edit. Master of the visual gag. That's a real train.
But it's not only real editing, it's the, I guess.
Well, like when he when he goes through the window, pulls down on the rain gutter,
Yeah.
those are edits. Those are all shot at different times and
Yeah.
everything, and
I was just gonna say, so we're sort of, well, I'll say for myself, I'm watching and I'm looking at, all the stunts and,
right.
yeah, and amazed. So I'm wondering, do you watch it and watch for the edits?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes, because
that's the secret of it.
Because you've been damaged.
yeah, I've been damaged, right. What you see, that's the continuity. Because it looks like it when he goes,
Yes.
the rain gutter falls down and then you cuts inside. It's all to you. You perceive it as one continuous motion.
Yes.
But it's all different times a day, could be next week, last week, whatever. And that's how you're telling a story. You don't have to, no one, well, hardly anyone, especially until this last year, no one does one take of anything. What's the Netflix thing, Adolescence? That is one take. That is one take.
I noticed that when I was watching it. And I commented to my wife, and she says, what?
Yes. Yeah. I'll watch it with you and I'll show you exactly how they did it. And it is, talk about, all you see as the viewer.
Does everybody know what we're talking about, adolescence? No.
It's on Netflix.
The kids
Is it?
want
And the father and
the kids.
the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like in these clips of like Keaton, you're perceiving this to be all one smooth motion. It's not.
That's what our brain is doing.
It's called persistence of vision. Very poetic, isn't it?
I like those theories.
No, but that's how this works. Your brain puts it together as it's one motion. It happened at the same, no one can move 1/30th of a second quickly. Like if your brain will know it's not continuous if there's a pull up in the middle of me doing this. It goes from here to here. I can't move that fast. Maybe when I was 18, but not now. But your brain is putting all these things together. And this is how they're telling their stories. They're taking images and laying them together and let you read the story. Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing. They're telling you a story, but you're reading it. So
was it filmed with a purpose? Like the clothes were the same, the scenery was the same?
Yes, that's called continuity. There's a person with it used to be a Polaroid. Before that, it was someone taking copious notes on a film set or a television set of what she had orange, and her hair there was one strand out of place here, and then when you do a dialogue scene and you see this person and then you reverse it and you see this person, that could have been shot a year apart. It doesn't matter. And that's why I burned out. but there's people, you have to, all this stuff takes collaboration out the wazoo. Like, the only reason I brought up Adolescence is to you, like it's 2 people, 3 people, 4 people in an episode. But there's 20 people on the other side of the camera. And you have to collaborate all those people together. Like in the last episode of Adolescence, they're inside a house. They go outside the house. They get in a car. They're driving, and you're seeing them driving in the car. They get out of the car, and then you go inside the car again for something. So I really admire those people. That was what an undertaking. So, okay.
There's a movie site called IMDb, and there's people that go through movies and find things like how 5 seconds later the coffee cup is turned around that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. But 99.9% of the people, as they view it, never see that.
But I
Yeah.
watch for it.
If you're watching for it, then you're not enjoying the movie.
Well, there are sometimes when it's so obvious.
So obvious. But it's a business. And all this stuff is a business. And if the coffee cup is at a place and the director loved that take and there was no other take that would work, we'll let it slide.
Yeah, most of us don't notice details like that.
So, this is a gentleman named Harold Lloyd, same era, great chase scenes, plays kind of the yuppie, preppy guy, always after the girl, never gets the girl, blah, 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 blah. Actually, Harold Lloyd movies, they're very fun, but it's kind of the same movie every time. See, that was... But yes, you're seeing, to you, it doesn't feel like an edit. To me, it does.
Yes.
Once again, there's no Cal OSHA.
Okay, so in photography, editing has a different meaning because you manipulate the.
You're manipulating.
Here you just slice different.
Well, you're also doing all those things you do in photography too. You're matching color, you're matching, you're adding effects, you're adding layers, you're doing all sorts of stuff with it.
See how you got burned.
I got burned.
When you know about your camera, you're also waiting for the perfect moment. So you're
Right.
watching it like it's cinema in front of you and you think, that's the shot, right?
Yeah. But yes, all that goes on, all that color correction and all that stuff still goes on in this type of editing. Yeah. Oh yeah. And there's, like I said, yeah. Okay, here's something I debated as to whether to show this. Birth of a Nation, 1915. 3 hours, 48 minutes, 19 seconds, and 12 frames of the most racist things you've ever seen in your life. But it's important. D.W. Griffith puts together what we would call a feature-length narrative for the very first time. And it is a blockbuster, unfortunately. It is, I'm going to show just a very small clip. Birth of a Nation is about the glorification of the Ku Klux Klan and how they
arose to combat the rapacious black people.
And carpetbaggers. And took and honor the white women. It's horrible. But it's a very important film. He's the first person to put together a narrative of this length and people made him rich because of it. Here I raise the ancient symbol of the unconquered race of men, the fiery cross of old Scotland's hills. I quench in flames in the sweetest blood that ever stained the sands of time.
And there's music.
And it is it's 3 hours, 48 minutes, 19 seconds, and 12 frames of the worst racist tropes you've ever seen.
I mean, now we see those group of people who say they're villains, but then they were heroes.
No, they're heroes. They're the heroes of the film. The summons delivered to the Titan of the adjoining county to disarm all blacks that night. Hollywood at this point, if it really wasn't called Hollywood at this point, but most people would only spend, Max Sennett probably never spent more than half a day making a movie. This took 7 months. Okay? Spies dispatched to hunt out whites in possession of the costume of the Ku Klux. The penalty, death. Blackface.
How did we do the sound? How was that laid on top?
Huh?
How was the sound laid on top?
The sound that I'm.
That was done after the fact. They
Yeah, yeah.
They had live
They
orchestra.
didn't have sound in those days.
They didn't have sound.
Yeah.
So what it would be, in a smaller town, it would be an organ. In the theater. In large places like Los Angeles, New York, they would have an orchestra.
So you say this is important,
It's a narrative.
yes, and so that's what I wanted you to talk more about is so it really clearly was telling a story with dialogue. It was not spoken, but it was written dialogue.
Yes.
So now we're seeing sort of the beginning, middle, and end of storytelling.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so that's
And-
when you say that's why this is important, not only, and also
Economically,
story-wise.
business-wise, it was very important.
Okay.
Because suddenly these people realized I could put out a 3-hour movie, people would come and pay and make me rich.
And sit for 3 hours watching that.
Yes.
So that's,
And Woodrow Wilson famously screened the film in the White House.
Yes. The first screening of the film was in the White House.
whoa.
But Wilson was a Southerner.
Wilson
Griffith
was
was,
very racist.
yes. Griffith was a Southerner. They both believed in the lost cause, all that stuff. I grew up in Southeast Texas. I was raised on the lost cause. I don't believe it. Please don't paint me in the corner. But it's very important because it is a narrative. We're now in 1915. We go 1908, 1909 when Max Sennett starts making Keystone Cops. It's just fun. It's just a blast. And the story is so stupid simple. Jack and Jill ran up the hill is toast oil compared to Max Sennett. Okay? So this becomes what becomes known as montage. Editing was known as montage. Montage, there's many different terms for this: film theory, edit theory, Soviet montage theory, okay, but this is the basis of editing.
French New Wave montage.
Yeah. French New Wave, something else. So these two guys, they're Russian, Soviets, and Kuleshov and Eisenstein. In my schooling, these guys were gods. in my theory classes. Because what Kuleshov did was he took Birth of a Nation, scene by scene, frame by frame, and analyzed it. And he was the first person to really come up with an intellectual academic dissertation, say, on why film works, why editing works. And so this was poured into my head. Can't tell you how much. Eisenstein was more my hero. And these two guys wrote letters back and forth to each other. There's all sorts of, you can find that stuff anywhere. Kuleshov was interested in how montage was made for a continuous story. Eisenstein was more interested in what the confrontation within montage, how totally disparate images laid against each other would affect the viewer. Okay? It's in a nutshell.
One was more literal and one was more metaphorical.
Yes, one was literal, one was metaphorical. Okay, so I'm going to let somebody else explain the Kuleshov effect. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this, but you'll be able to recognize this guy.
Is this him?
That was him, yes.
Okay.
But I'll let someone else explain this.
Oh.
What one might call pure cinema, the assembly of film, and how it can be changed to create a different idea. Now we have a close-up. Let me show you what he sees. Let's assume he saw a woman holding a baby in her arms. Now we cut back to his reaction to what he sees. And he smiles. Now what is he as a character? He's a kindly man. He's sympathetic. Now, let's take the middle piece of film away, the woman with the child. But leave his two pieces of film as they were. Now we'll put in a piece of film of a girl in a bikini. He looks, girl in a bikini, he smiles. He's no longer the benign gentleman who loves babies. That's what film can do.
And this is Kuleshov's experiments, actual experiments. Same ideas. Only changing thing that changes is the first shot. That's it. That's editing in a nutshell. You can tell a story. You can take this piece, this picture, say, and this picture, and it means something. You change this picture, it means something totally different. This picture is still exactly the same. That's the basis for my 50 years working.
I imagine walking through a gallery, let's say there's a photo exhibit, and you're going from one to the next, to the next, to the next. You're doing exactly this, where you're putting this image, walking to the next one and saying, what is the relationship between this one and that one? And then you have more relationships building, and you think, what aesthetically is happening? What at a deeper level is this photographer trying to say or do? So there's still image in its sequence works like cinema as well.
And you got to remember, the moving image is frame by frame by frame by frame also. It is a series of stills. Your brain has turned it into motion, but it is still stills. Frames are frames are frames. If they're one or 30 of them to make a second. Same thing.
So I guess the question for us is, when we're shooting, are we thinking about what we shot prior? Do you, do some of you do that?
Sometimes, but not often.
So you're just looking for that one image and then moving on to something else?
So, but if you wanted to build a body of work, these ideas become central. And these are concrete ideas, proven over and over. They've made people incredibly wealthy. They've made people starve themselves to death to try to do it. But these are ideas, if it's a still image or it's a moving image, it still works. Now, this next thing is a film from a clip from a film by Sergei Eisenstein. And it's the battleship Potemkin. These people were propagandists. They were making films to extol the virtues of the workers' revolution and the glory of the worker. This is from part of that film called The Odessa Steps. Now you might...
I had a feeling that's what you were going to show us.
Yes, you might remember a Brian De Palma film from the 1980s with Kevin Costner and Sean Connery about the bootleggers in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I forget what the name of the film is.
Untouchables.
Untouchables. Or The Naked Gun Part 3. You'll see this in The Naked Gun Part 3. I'm not going to show The Naked Gun Part 3. This is 1925. The battleship Potemkin was the first communist revolution in 1905 in the port of Odessa. This sequence has been paid homage to in countless films. And remember, Eisenstein thinks of montage. One of his theories about montage or editing is confrontation. Disparate, different images laid against each other to make a whole new idea.
So which year was this?
1925. So yes, they're propagandists. They're wanting you to hate the Cossacks, okay? The White Russians. They want you to hate them, okay? I'm not espousing any ideas. I'm just theory and editing. Okay, there's 4 basic ideas in editing. Graphic relations between shots, meaning how do they look together, okay? The rhythmic, now this might pertain more to the moving image than the still image, but the pace between shots, that's what this means. Spatial relationship. The editor has the power to make things closer together or further apart. How you decide to edit it. If I want 2 people to be very intimate, they'll be shot very close in close-up, and the space between the edits, they're all 1/30th of a second anyway, but how they almost step on each other when they're speaking, say in a dialogue scene. If I want them further apart, put them further apart, put pauses in there. And like I said, this shot of me, this shot of you, could be next week. okay? It's the editor who decides how those two things come together. Do I step on your audio? Do you step on my audio? Do we pause in our conversation, or do we not? That's all left up to the editor.
And the audio editor.
Screw them.
The holy guy.
And then the temporal relation, and that's, I kind of touched on that, is the time. I can compress time, I can expand time in a scene. And it's really like a shot comes up, and if you're ever on a set, they always count, they'll count you down, the actor's down, or they say action. You're supposed to pause and then wait to break your line or your scene that you're playing until they say cut. And that leaves tails, what they call tails. And that tail is where you can play with the temporal pace of things. It's
the relationship between an editor and a film director.
The director is God.
Together?
The director is God, and I was just one of his prophets on the earth.
So you cut according to what he wants.
Yes, but it's like if some directors will tell you, that's what I want. Sure. I'm getting paid by the hour. We'll do whatever you want. If you're a good director, you'll say, this is what I'm looking for. What do you think? Those were the fun guys to work with. The other ones, I couldn't wait till for happy hour. So now let's get to story. And this is something I have thought about a whole lot. I'm trying to write a novel. So every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Okay? There's really only 7 stories in the world. That's all there is. Every story can contain other of these ideas together, and you make a longer narrative, more complicated narrative. But you're really telling 7 stories. Beginning, middle, and end. Overcoming the monster. Okay?
Who came up with these 7 stories?
Oh, some guy, you might know.
Aristotle?
Yeah, that's been adapted from Aristotle.
Is it in the Poetics?
Yeah.
The 3-act structure comes from.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, these have all been updated, so we all don't need to know the ancient Greek, but.
Yeah, I was just
recently,
wondering.
I saw an article from somebody who claimed there isn't really 7, there's 20.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Yeah, it was a long.
write a book and. If there's 20, then I'm in trouble.
So what's the other ones? Rags to reach.
The Quest, Voyage and Return, Sinbad.
The Odyssey.
Yeah, the Odyssey, comedy, tragedy. Those 2 things are very closely related to each other. He can probably explain that better than I could. But comedy and tragedy, same setup, different outcome.
Yeah.
Same coin, different side.
Yeah, same coin, different side. Rebirth.
Where's the love story?
Yeah, I wanted to ask that too.
That fits within Mother Franklin. Is it a rags to riches love affair? Is it a comedy
Riches
love?
to rags.
Voyage and return. Do I have to sail to my love, or does she return to me? This is totally deconstructed of what you would normally think a story is, but this is it. So let's talk about beginning, middle, and end. How do you tell a story? Jack and Jill went up the hill, fetch a pail of water.
That's volition.
Huh?
Act one, volition.
Yeah. That's beginning, middle, and end. Do you all remember the film Sunset Boulevard? 1950. It's film noir kind of. That starts at the end, and everything is told by the dead man. Because the opening scene is the guy dead in the pool, floating in the pool. And he tells the story. So we started at the end, and then he flashes back while he's dead to the beginning. And then it progresses. Middle, end, to the beginning. It's really like there's 7 stories, there's 3 parts to a story. Now there's probably 50 billion stories to tell, just from those basic things. So if you're trying to tell a story with images, I didn't include it in this one, but I had one, this thing, when I gave this to these Morgan State people, it was a dog and a cat. 5 shots, 5 stills. See the cat, you see the dog, you see the cat react to the dog, you see the cat in a tree. This last shot is the dog in the tree with the cat growling at it. Next one, they're all 4 of them, the first 4 are all the same, but the last one is the dog and the cat are laying by a food bowl, licking each other. So they turn up happy. 5 images, only one different in each one, but it's a different story. Does that make any sense? Okay. Okay, my 50-year career summed up right there. No, you have.
So my interest, I mean, I used to teach media studies as
Sure.
well. And my interest is less on the creation than the interpretation. So you're on the end of producing and I'm on the end of
viewing.
Of thinking about how viewers are interpreting what they're consuming.
Right.
Okay. So we come from, 2 different,
Sure.
very different. So I'm wondering.
Same coin, different sides.
Yes. And I'm wondering how much you think of the audience when you are editing. And we've been talking about how the sequence or how things are put together creates meaning.
Right.
That's how you read it, right?
Right.
I'm interested in how somebody, brings their experience and their worldview to read it. So how much, when you're producing,
right,
how much do you think about what I'm talking about? What an audience is interpreting it?
Quite frankly, very little.
Yeah, that's what I'd say.
No, I'm being totally honest.
Yeah, no, I mean.
How could you?
Yeah.
Because everybody's experience is going to be different.
Or as I've taught other people this stuff, and earlier in my career, I would teach friends, tape ops who wanted to be editors, that kind of stuff. My advice to them, kind of in this vein, was you're on that side of the monitor. I'm on this side of the monitor.
Yeah.
I'm going to slap you in the face, and you can't slap me. I am there to elicit a response. Whatever that response is, I'm free and clear of it. Intellectually, I really didn't think about it that much.
Does the editor have the choice to make the decision about how it an audience will react? Because let's say you have two cuts or you have
Well,
two.
you're intending that you'll react to certain.
Well, basically, he's working the craft, you know.
No, I,
Yeah, the propaganda, you would.
sure, oh yeah, we're gonna get to some propaganda, we're gonna get some hardcore propaganda here in a second. Most of my work was in the pursuit of business. It was advertising. Even all those music videos I worked on, those were just commercials. The viewer might perceive them, oh, that's my favorite band. No, I'm getting paid by people. How do we get people engaged to spend money? I hate to be cynical about it, but that's just the bottom line. Bottom line is the bottom line. But I get your point.
And that is important for me when I am thinking about the power of that message that you're sending.
Right?
Yes, so, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's important, yeah, I think that's good for me to be thinking about.
Yes, I mean, like I said, most of my career was commercials, music videos. I did some episodic stuff and episodic television, but you got to remember in television, we always considered the show the filler between commercials.
Oh, I totally get
We're not.
Right, because that's what paying.
I don't care what went on in the yard. Did you watch the soap commercial? You know, that's really, and then along came the fast forward button and kind of.
You weren't focused on what Sandy was talking about, but wouldn't the director be more focused? And your job is just to put together.
You never met a director, did you?
No, I
The director is focused on himself.
I have to say, or herself.
Or herself, yes. And we're going to get to her in a moment.
Good.
One of the, I don't know where.
Okay.
Okay, so now let's move on to something totally different. Avant-garde film. Saw a lot of it in college. I sought it out later, but I'm telling you, in Topeka, there was no art house you could go see any of this stuff. So I would actually drive to Lawrence, Kansas, 60 miles away, to see an avant-garde film. So in the 1920s in Germany, in Weimar Republic, the Bauhaus art movement. Warner Groff was an artist who experimented with film. This is a very short clip. The entire film is about 30 minutes long, so we won't go through that. All it is squares. Very Bauhaus. Very Bauhaus, if you know the Bauhaus movement. Very. And so his work as an artist made him pursue this as film and animation. Okay? When thinking about avant-garde film, it's non-narrative. Typically, it's non-narrative, lyrical. Okay, and for someone who spent their life doing advertising, it was a great way. Now, this is done by a guy named Louis Brunet, and it was co-written with Salvador Dali. Spain, 1928, and the Andalusian dog. Okay? When you watch this, think of Kafka and Metamorphosis. Her armpit becomes a sea urchin. The hand in the stream. David Lynch, this was homage. David Lynch paid an homage to this in Blue Velvet. Yeah, it's new. Yeah. Okay? Now,
I love this film.
Jean Cocteau was a poet, mainly. That's what he was known, but he was also an avant-garde filmmaker. Now, this film was released in 1946. He started it in summer of 1944 under Vichy France, under Nazi-occupied France. He ran out of film. He couldn't get any more film in 1945, towards the end of the war. So he had to wait 7 months, okay? And everyone's seen this is Beauty and the Beast, French fairy tale. You've seen I'm sure everyone's seen the Disney version. Okay, you got to remember, this is in Vichy France when he starts this film. He has no money, he has no film, he has to come up with magical ways to do magical things. And one of the things was, this scene I'm about to show you is when the father first goes to the castle, to the Beast's castle, which is supposed to be this magical place. Okay? Great film. Well worth it. He has to make a magical place with no money. This is probably his most narrative film he ever did. Fireplace is smoking. This is a really magical film. is, and he follows the fairy tale to the T.
I'm fascinated by the lighting.
Yes. Once again, cost. No, it is so well worth it.
So I went to high school, Boyle, and there was an art teacher named Mike out here. And I remember he had a film series that he'd get a film and he'd project it, and it showed Shine on the Loop, showed The Bit, Beauty and the Beast, 8.5. This is my first exposure to stuff. I'm blown away.
Well, it's like Europe after the war is the Italian neorealism, the bicycle thief, wonderful movie, shot actually in the ruins of World War II Rome, and it is a magical film. It is the sweetest movie. Yes. And then also the few years after the French New Wave with telling more real stories than what Hollywood was doing. And then the Norwegian filmmakers. Yeah. And so all these things are culturally relevant to their time and their place. All this stuff is. And yes, and The Bicycle Thief is another film. If you've never seen it, it's well worth it. It is such a touching story. Okay, so now we're going to move. Kenneth Anger. 1940s, 1950s. Most of his work was what would be called homoerotic, but he had a sense of humor. And these are kind of closer to narrative than non, but sometimes very lyrical. Great sense of humor. Okay, this is a guy who was heavily influenced stuff that I worked on later in music videos. This guy named Stan Brakhage, he made films for 30 years, hardly made a dime at it, but now his stuff is collected at MoMA and stuff like, he's very, very non-narrative, very lyrical. And as photographers, you might want to watch some of Stan Brakhage. He's very okay. Why Stan Brakhage was, you can see Stan Brakhage in music videos, you can see him in commercials, the shaky cam, the just kind of blurry images and stuff. Believe me, I knew enough music video directors, they watched that guy. So now we're going to come to this person. More horrible ideas, well done. Leni Riefenstahl was Hitler's documentarian. Okay, there's two films of hers that are worth as images to watch. One is called from 1930, released in 1935 called Triumph of the Will. It's a documentary of the 1934 Nuremberg extravaganza. And it is incredible shots. Incredible shots. This is 1937. This is a documentary about the 1936 Olympics. Why she is important, why I consider her important personally. What's now known as corporate communications, when I started in television, they were called industrials. It took American filmmakers making industrial films, the Handy Jam Company and all these other people in the 40s and 50s, 60s. It took them 30 years to catch up with this woman and her use of images to portray an idea. Horrible ideas, that's not the point. The point is she was a master at it. This is from the opening of Olympia. Of course, they're all blonde. Spoiler alert, the flames become the Olympic torch. It's actually 19-minute long opening to this film. But it is beautiful imagery, beautiful. And then also in the showing the sports during the Olympics was American television did not catch up with her techniques on how to show sports until the 1970s, literally. Or I would say the late 1960s, ABC Wide World of Sports Open, Agony of Defeat, all that stuff. But she did it first, okay? And believe me, I knew enough sports people, yes, they had watched this stuff. This film, now, why this is important to me personally, I first saw this film at the Rotunda, 1984. That's when it was released. This is the first of 3 films in a trilogy. Koyanastasi means, it's a Hopi Indian word that means life out of balance. Giorgio Refugio, the director, producer, interpreted the Hopi language was very abstract, open to interpretation. He took it to mean world out of balance. And this was kind of his statement on the environment, what we're doing to it. But this is when I first put this stuff together in my brain of how images work with images, against images. And to me, this is my epiphany moment. No. It's a little bit longer clip because it's important to me. This is an amazing piece of work. If you've never seen this, it's well worth it.
And the score is by
Philip Glass, yes.
Incredible.
Oh, really?
Produced by Francis Ford Coppola. Giorgio Refugio sent a cut to Philip Glass. There's two clips here. This is the opening and there's another clip.
Yeah,
Do we?
the volume, that you could have higher volume.
Well, it comes in low and increases.
See, it actually does come up. It's not feed.
So you gotta go through the
It should come through the
It's okay, no
HDMI.
worries.
It's not just HDMI.
Yeah. That's a,
But like I said, this is when I finally put it together.
time lapse.
This is probably the one of the trilogy that most people have seen. Took them 8 years to make this film. Yep.
Was it Coppola's vision?
Huh?
The director's vision?
Oh, yeah. Well, you'll see why it took so long in a minute here.
This is really, that's some Oscar Keaton stuff.
Not a line of dialogue in the whole thing.
Like 10 streets.
fun place.
New York City or?
There's 8 million flavors.
Yeah, it's a TV factory.
Lucy.
I know.
The food court. He's telling a narrative. And that's, to me, that was my epiphany. Here was no words, no comic, no comedy. There's a very serious message that he's conveying here about the world out of balance.
And it's a powerful message.
Yes, it
It's
is.
a powerful way to tell the story.
Powerful way, not a word spoken.
How long is this movie?
Almost 2 hours.
Yeah,
No.
I get how, yeah.
It's a challenge. Unless you want to do an hour and 38 minutes of the Nuremberg rally. Okay, now let's have a little fun with my career. This is something I had a very, very, very small part in. Hank Corwin was the editor of, this is the 4th film that he had done with Oliver Stone. He was sick of Oliver Stone. Sick. I had finished up a Lyle Lovett video, and the operations people where I was working told me, well, Hank wants to come in, he wants to just work with you a couple hours. This is the opening title sequence credits for Natural Born Killers. Film well worth, in my estimation, to watch. Very kind of an important film about the media, blah, blah, blah. If you can hear it, take a listen to when Oliver Stone's credit goes off the screen. I don't know if it'll play. Oh, shit. winter coat.
Stars are coming out. Look up in the brassy sky, and there they are, like gloomy pocket change. You bet on something you wish you had 10,000 to bet on. Something where the odds are good. Betting all those stars you don't win shit, and there's a movie, another movie.
When the car dies, Oliver dies. Or if that's the way Hank put it that evening, about 2 o'clock in the morning. I call this the revenge of the editor.
That's great.
My little bitty part of it is, it was called visualization. He had the footage cut together, then we did a rough cut of where the titles were supposed to go. So when they did the final finish, they had a guide. But I always thought that was fun. That 4 films, and Hank wanted Oliver to die. So in his own way, he did. Now this is probably the most recognizable video that I worked on. I did what was called the finish edit. Oh, back. Got lost here. I've loved this video always because it's such a crisp edit. Not this one.
Is it your edit?
Huh?
Your edit?
I was the finishing editor, meaning the little effects that you don't notice. I did. Put it, assembled everything together, made the last changes. But I always really love this because it's such a crisp edit. Iconography, edits, think Stan Brakish. Done by an editor named Mark Romanek.
was just a dream. That was just a dream. That's me in the corner. That's me in the spotlight, losing my religion. Trying to keep up with you, and I don't know if I can do it. I'm now said too much. I haven't said enough. I thought that I heard you laughing. I thought that I heard you sing. I think I thought I saw you try. But that was just a dream. Try, cry, why, try. That was just a dream. Just a dream. Just a dream. Dream.
Okay, so that's pretty much it.
Well, yeah.
I hope I didn't bore you.
No, this was really interesting to end with this because it was the first time that I could really look at each image that was put together. And from a photographic standpoint, I mean, it visually,
Yes.
the composition in each one of those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes. I mean, it's, I can safely say some of them are full frames.
Yeah.
Okay? Some of the spark stuff.
Yeah.
But so I don't know if I accomplished what Christoph, what we had talked about. How do you as photographers take what I've talked about and think about a story of, and just not disparate photographs you've taken in the past. Think about your body of work, one, but also think about trying to make a story. 2 photographs, 3 photographs, 5 photographs, a book. What would the story be that you wanted to tell? What's relevant to you? And to your earlier question about do I ever think about what the viewer thinks? No, I don't. Yes.
What does the work look like? When you work, you're not out there with the actors and all that, you're sitting in a little room?
I am sitting in a dark room, and back in those days, it was big pieces of equipment with little boards that lit up, and a whole bank of monitors. Never saw the light of day. Huh?
You were editing the tape then, weren't you?
Yeah, oh yeah, in the beginning, yes.
So you watch the film.
Rushes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you know what you're looking at? I mean, how do you know what the whole thing is supposed to look like? Is that
Okay. One, let's take a music video. Okay, everyone knows what those are. First and foremost, music videos are advertisements. They're commercials. Okay? So yes, the process starts that the director writes a story that he wants to tell. Basically, there's 3 types of music videos. One, performance only. One, this kind of bizarre, avant-garde, hybrid story, maybe, images, no band. And the third is the most common, like this was. It's a hybrid. Some performance, some story. So the director writes that. The business, when I was doing it, the music company actually paid to have the video done. which the band had to pay back out of sales. Okay? So they were called the video commissioners. And what they say, okay, we have an REM song, here's the song. Then they would send it out to agents and stuff, and 5 directors would write a little story, what they wanted to do. They show it to the band. The band and the music company would make a decision on which one they liked the best. Now give me a budget. And then basically how you shoot a music video, set up, if it's performance, 3 shots, set up for 3 shots, wide shots, do the whole song 2 or 3 times from different angles, different shots. Then you go and then you take each individual person in the band, you shoot them close up. Okay? Then if it's a hybrid story, then you go do your little hybrid and how it puts together. Okay, so now for a 4-minute music video, you have now shot about 40 minutes or an hour's worth of footage. In comes Russ. And back in those days, you would offline in another video format. Later it became Avids and digital stuff, Final Cut Pro, that stuff. So you had to go through an hour's worth of footage. Then you would there's a thing called time code, which addresses every single frame. And then you would say, okay, starting at this frame, we might use this. Starting at this frame, we might use this. Okay, that could take a week. Okay? And then you lay down your master shots. You lay down one master shot, then you cut over where you want master shots to change. Then you start slicing and dicing. And then invariably you get to the point where we thought that was going to work, but it's not. What can you do? So, and then it's just, it's a lot of looking at stuff and trying stuff. And then what, pardon my French, term used called frame fucking. And where, oh, move that a frame. Oh, can you make that start a frame later? Can you make that start a frame earlier? Oh, can the incoming shot start 4 frames later? And then that's a week. When you're talking about something that's going to last 4 frames, and you're going to do that in a music video, there's probably 1,200 edits.
At least now the editors are acknowledged, they didn't in the past.
Oh, no.
They were not acknowledged as much.
No, especially in television, and they're still not. They're still not. Not in the advertising world. There's people who do acknowledge you, but I got acknowledged every other week on Friday. That's how I got acknowledged. So, but, that's, I hope you found this interesting. I don't know, but, that's what I did for 50 years. And then I burned out. Then I burned out.